About 8 months ago, I published an unboxing video of a Bethania Garage Hard Dog roll bar for the BMW Z3, and then nothing happened. Actually, a lot happened since then, which is why this video took so long to make. But hey, I'm here, I am present, I'm wearing a comfy sweater, and I'm here to set the record straight that the roll bar was installed after all, and it's on the car, it looks great, and so I'm going to tell you about how all that went. All this footage is from spring of this year, so if you're wondering why everything doesn't look like winter, that's why. It's literally been that long.
It's been 84 years.
Also, you might notice that some of these shots appear out of sequence, and you'd be right. I lost a lot of footage along the way, and I had to reshoot that footage at awkward times.
Oh, I'm sorry! Oh, I forgot to put a name in! I forgot to put a name in!
And also, there wasn't much in the instructions for a lot of this, so I was just kind of winging it. Did a number of things in an order that wasn't helpful. So I edited the footage to show a better way of doing it instead of the way I actually did it, hence the continuity issues. But no more delays, onto the installation. So hands down, the biggest part of this build was removing the interior, because to install this roll bar, you have to remove a maze of 20-year-old German-made plastics. But first, as with a lot of things on the Z3, you start by removing the seats. The next big step was to remove the roll hoops to make way for the new roll bar, and to do that I needed to pop off this cover to the ottomans box, being careful not to break the tabs or clips holding it down. Then I unscrewed and slid out the subwoofer to get to and remove the Torx bolts on the inner side of each roll hoop. Then I removed the Torx bolts on the outer part of the roll hoop and then pulled the whole thing out, which freed me to remove the rest of the interior pieces. Next up was to remove the subwoofer and ottomans box itself, first by popping off the inner roll bar covers, being careful not to destroy those clips in the process. Then I unscrewed the box from the wells under those covers, from the back, and from the bottom behind the power top controls. Then lifted the ottomans box up and out of the way. Moving on, the next step of the puzzle was to remove the covers to the seatbelt tower, then back down to the door sill to pop off the door sill covers, which can be removed by pulling straight up with even force across the sill. Disengage these 3 clips that slide into the sill cover. Then I unbolted the seat from the seatbelt tower, disconnected the rear speakers, and unscrewed and removed the lateral trim panels from each side. And that was it for the interior. Bethania Garage notes on their website that the roll bar is not designed to work with the power top. But I found a few message board posts suggesting that's not entirely true, that you can cut a notch in part of the hoop to accommodate the hydraulic cylinder. But after actually trying to install the Hard Dog roll bar on a Z3 with a power top, I can tell you that's not a feasible thing to do. So yeah, the hydraulic top system had to go. With the interior partially removed, it was time to do a test fit. And unfortunately, it didn't go too well. The rear supports didn't line up directly with the tubes in the chassis, and I couldn't drop it down into place. Part of the solution was to provide some force to bend the supports just slightly, but even that wasn't enough to get them to slide in all the way down into place. So I decided the next best thing to do was to gradually shave material off from the supports until the bar could seat properly, making sure to cover any bare metal with at least a layer of spray paint to help avoid rust in the future. Some bending and some shaving seemed to do the trick, along with some well-placed hits with a mallet to get everything down and into place for the test fit. And with the bar down into place, it was time to drill the holes both into the bar and into the convertible top pockets on the car for the mounting hardware to go through. Here I did make another deviation from the instructions from Bethania Garage, which said to drill new holes through the roll bar tubes and to use the provided hardware. But I couldn't see how it was possible to tighten those bolts down with the interior trim in place. So I used the existing holes and hardware on the car to bolt the rear supports into place. Now that I was sure that everything would set into place, I got to work cutting some access ports in the interior trim. I hoped to avoid this, but the harness bar made it pretty much impossible to lift the trim enough to get to any of the places where those nuts and bolts needed to be torqued down. And after the trim was put back and the bar dropped down into place for the final time, that was pretty much it, and all that was left was to enjoy the results. So what did I think about this whole experience? Well, taking apart the interior was not fun, as was trying to get the bar to fit the chassis, but I have to say it was well worth it in the end. The bar is well made, with substantial tubing and high quality welds, and that not only makes the car safer, but also adds a fair bit of rigidity to the chassis. On the downside, it did add a bit of weight to the car, approximately 40 pounds of it. But it added that weight to the rear part of the car, what's actually needed on this particular build, so not too bad. And again, for the added safety, that's just fine by me. Now it just needs some good supportive seats and a quality harness to keep me from sliding around like an oiled potato in a hot skillet. That's for another day. That's all for now. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you down the road.